Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's LTA 2025 matchup.
In there, they are being able to be competitive. And honestly, we've kind of seen some similar things with Lion, even Dignitas yesterday, showing that these teams in the bottom four are able to be competitive, especially in the early games. And I think the issues and the difference in the teams is mostly in the mid game and the late games, where teams struggle to know how to play out the maps, how to really kind of convert on some of these advantages.
And we'll see it, especially in these Shopify games. They hard commit to side lane plays more often than I would say any other team in our league. They will send 4 people side lane very early on to either go for dives, and they really commit to these plays. Like, they stay there for over a minute sometimes, and that is sometimes where the opponents will get either cross maps or come with some defense. Let's take a look here, though. They have drafted again the Azir for APA. I mean, it is only very recently that he had that really good, he even said his very best game of Azir ever on stage. So TL looking to keep that going.
Yep, and Rumble, I was just talking about this last game. It feels like there's just a flip has been, the switch has been flipped, and now it's not getting banned anymore, and it's just getting picked every time.
But this is also with a Jace, so I really like this because we definitely have a lot of flex possibilities between these two. Yes, the solo lanes, but also I know Contracts has in the past played some jungle Rumble, so it is also still movable there as well. But TL don't care about whatever flex you're going to go for any of the lanes. And they think it's probably going to be just the more standard Rumble top and Jace into the mid lane. And so they say, yeah, fine, you can have your poke Jace into our Azir. We're going to go with our counter of the Galio into the Rumble again, which is like the third time this weekend that we've had this
the other ones. But I do think, to be fair, I think it was the team that was favored was the one playing the Rumble both times. So now, it's kind of
higher ranked.
Exactly. The higher ranked team was the one playing the Rumble. So this time, maybe we'll get a bit of a more fair comparison here. We'll see how Impact is able to do on it. I feel like this really should fit the kind of style that he is really good at playing. Also going to be interested to see if he's playing Phase Rush or if he's playing Aftershock, because we saw one of each. And when I talked to Blippo about this matchup, he was saying he really feels like it's about playing around the Phase Rush and only going in aggressively when you have that Phase Rush. So you can't just get slowed by the Electro Harpoon and kind of like all in by Rumble.
I do really love Poppy right now as well. And so I'm assuming this is jungle Poppy now.
Just right now, not like a...
No, definitely right now. In the past, not so much.
No.
Because right now, the newly buffed Umbral Glaive, which is cheaper, by the way, and has more AD, is such a fun solo queue build for Poppy. Of course, for pro play, not expecting that, expecting much more tanky. But Poppy is so good into every one of these champions that TLF drafted. So I think that is an amazing third pick there for Shopify Rebellion. Really, really good value out of that. Versus Azir, Galio, and a Nefiri.
Are you expecting the Poppy jungle or
I'm expecting the jungle until they show a need to have some sort of flex down to the bottom.
They could really be cooking here, but
they definitely can.
It's probably just their top side.
They definitely can. I really do like Poppy jungle right now. Ever since they buffed the Q damage, so you can annihilate the AoE camps, and you can do them just running away too. So you save a lot of travel time between camps. Because you don't have to auto attack, and just throw your Q down as you walk away. And we will get the reveal at the very end, since Shopify have their red side 5th pick, and they're saving it to keep the Poppy support / jungle flex alive.
Keep the mystique,
It's always good to retain a little bit of mystery.
Exactly. Don't want to be too obvious. Ash going to be coming in here, obviously a very strong laner. I do wonder, how Ash will be able to survive over what was already showing as a pretty heavy dive comp with the Kai'Sa coming through. We're probably going to get hard engaged support, and it's going to be even more towards that heavy dive style as it is Nico. So this is going to be a scary game, I think, for Bvoy to be able to survive. That being said, obviously, if you're diving through Equalizer and all of this other stuff, there can be a lot of power there as well that can look to punish you. So we'll find out what Seos wants to go for. I do still think that Shopify also kind of needs that primary engage, unless they are really going to try to play more the defensive style and want to look to try to answer that dive with something like a Renata. But I am expecting him to play hard engage, and Alistar definitely fits the bill. Can look to disengage some of these dives, knock away the Nico if she's going for an ultimate. That's a really key kind of interaction there, but definitely rounds out their comp well.
Yeah, a lot of times too, being able to have the Alistar with the ultimate ability to be able to stay inside when a Galio ult or something is coming down and try and create the space for the rest of the squad. Definitely very valuable. So Headbutt and Poppy W here, some two critical kind of peeling moves for Shopify that are going to have to be used very wisely. The positioning for Poppy is critical for all of these team fights. Sometimes you can deny Azir ultimate simply by being in position to pop your W and kind of holding it. So definitely going to take a close look at those team fights, but this one should be explosive.
It really should. And it's also CoreJJ's first ever Nico game in pro play. So we'll see how he actually performs on it. This is a totally random question. I'm not sure if you're going to know. Does Proto Belt trigger the stun in Poppy's W?
I would assume so because it's a dash.
I would assume so as well, but because
so
it's
I'm gonna say
item,
yes.
I wasn't actually.
I'm going all in. I'm committing. It is a dash for
I'll
sure.
double down. I'll just be a sheeple. I'll just blindly follow you.
Nice, I like
and then I also have the bailout of if we're wrong, it's more you're wrong, and I just had too much belief.
For the record, this is not financial advice. I just like the dash.
Fair enough. I like the dash too. We'll see if Team Liquid likes the dash after this game or if it's going to be going back in the garbage bin. Shopify Rebellion trying to be the first team from that projected bottom four to get a win against these big four teams that have been absolutely running things. It was 10-0 going into last game, so 11-0 now. Top four versus bottom four. As Impact DCs and so does Contracts. So hopefully they're going to be able to reconnect really quickly. Actually, everyone's
That's
DCing
looking
now.
like everybody.
It's
So
looking like a
I
remake to
think
me.
we might have to redo a champion select. Which
As an update, upon game start, all PCs on stage restarted. So League officials determined to remake the game from Champ Select to ensure that the player hardware settings were in fact correct. So that is why we see Fudge there in lobby right now. So we're just waiting to get that kicked off, and then they will just be blasting through with the same picks and bans as they already had for the game. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes here, and hopefully we will be back without any more issues in game. We'll see if they...
Maybe I'll log in and gift a sub.
Okay. Now the stakes have been raised. We'll see if they get it.
Everyone's just saying no anyway. Everyone's just saying no.
Nopers.
Raz is trying.
Zed mid rumble top.
But he's
middle
wrong.
jungle.
He said fiddlesticks. All right, we're out.
Well, Zed was also not in the game, so Raz is not doing so hot there.
How can you ever tell with Zed though? You know, the shadows, and he's very tricky, dude.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're blasting through picks and bans here. Hopefully, going to get through this very, very quick. These two teams, of course, pretty close in the standings, but the expected win is definitely TL. We'll see if Shopify can take a win, though, and kind of throw things into a little bit of chaos as we come towards the final games of this positioning phase here. Of course, we are deciding who will be in which group for the best of threes that are going to be starting next week. And then, of course, for the rest of the split, it's all going to be best ofs. We're going to have best of threes throughout that group stage, starting next week. And then we're going to be going into a limb best of five playoffs.
I'm excited for that.
So we're going to get a lot of Fearless. Our first true taste of Fearless, I feel like, is going to be this playoffs because we only had the one best of five last split, and it was a 3-0.
Yeah. We said we were fearless, but we had a little fear in us.
Scared
still.
of Game Force.
You know, in our heart of hearts, we were a little scared.
We didn't see any Game Force.
But this time, we're going to be
surely in a double limb playoffs, it's not 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0.
Surely.
It couldn't possibly be.
Definitely no chance. All right, look at that full draft. Who got it right? Was it Bench Ape?
Says Timo top, and we got Sona.
Oh man, some
This
of these
person just started listing random champions.
Some of these Twitch names, I don't. No, we can't say those.
Some of these guesses have many more than 10 champions.
Yeah.
And so those already are not going to be correct. All right, well, TL going to be coming on in again. It is going to be the first time we've actually seen CoreJJ on the Nico. And Impact going to be busting out the Galio here, so that should be fun to see.
It does, and it also gives us the chance. Everyone loves to judge, every time it's your first champion or first time playing a champion on stage. So everybody out of 10 will be judging CoreJJ Nico here, and that will follow him forever.
Pop quiz, how many games of Galio do you think Impact has?
4.
11.
Well, okay. I was too conservative.
You were too conservative. But,
Way too conservative.
He's doing pretty well. He's got a 63.6% win rate there on it. Impact has played for a long time. I wonder if it's even like the modern Galio, or if it's like old Galio, or, you know. So who knows? But we are in the game. We are kicking it off. Third game of the day here. Second day of Super Week. We are here on a Sunday. Remember, we're going to be back tomorrow as well for more games on Monday to round out the positioning phase here.
I'll see you there or here.
That's true. There and here.
In the future, in the same location, though. Well, we'll see what goes on in the early game here, because Palafox is heading down with the duo lane.
Yeah, maybe just...
There is a ward, so they went for the early ward in Brush.
Good luck, have fun. Round 2. Who won the first game? Was it a tie?
It's whoever got out of the broken lobby first. Whoever got all of their players
Whoever's
out.
top 4, according to the graphic.
Okay, well,
so it's 11-0 is the combined record of FlyQuest, C9, TL, and 100 Thieves versus Lion, Shopify, DSG, and Dig. Not a win on the board yet, and we are getting down to the end of it. We only have 6 more games remaining, and some of those are going to be top teams versus top teams, of course. This is the closeness stats, though. This is what I was talking about. Versus C9 and Fly, they were very, very close here. You know, even late into the game. About 27 minutes in, dead even versus C9 versus FlyQuest. About 30-ish minutes, 29 minutes, whatever. They were actually still up gold. They had that one kind of swing back where they were able to get a slight advantage, but they weren't able to close out any of those games. They're running out of chances, so we'll see if they're going to be able to do it here against TL.
all right. Core JJ so far on his first stage game. Nico looking good to me. He's got some damage here. Abused the level 1 Alistar before Alistar can do anything about it.
I mean, Core is definitely a really flexible player. It's always interesting because, like, myself included, everyone kind of talks a lot about how you know, you like him more on engaged champs and how important he is for the team. But it's not because he can't play the other styles. It's just because he's been so core to what TL needs.
And luckily for him, Nico is both a lane dominant poke champ as well as an engaged champ for them for later, so he can be that main shot caller.
Impact just went in there and actually missed on the E, so doesn't proc the Aftershock, misses out on the spell damage, and then takes a lot of damage there from Fudge on the return with that Conqueror. And this is kind of what happened when Bwipo was playing the Rumble against Licorice. Licorice went in for an aggressive E. Bwipo was able to kind of backstep it, then overheat, and really run him down. So Impact definitely has to be careful. Even though you do get Prio in this matchup, you have the magic damage shield, there's all these nice little things, you have great wave clear. If you overstep, you can get punished.
Definitely can. We saw it in that game. It was brutal too, because Licorice also flashed at the end, so dying and losing the flash critical in that matchup. Impact here hitting that Justice Punch.
I'm going to be able to get a nice trade there. Fudge actually really low, so will likely be going back to base as Jan is in a lot of trouble. Jan almost just gets ran down. His Contracts made an early trip down towards the bot side. We didn't see the start of that, but we can see missing flashes for Seos and Contracts, and the Ignite was used, and the flash off of B-Voy. They do get the summoners off Jan, but he lives, and now Fudge has stayed around. Can they set this up? Umpty is up here. He is level 4. Fudge does cancel the recall.
They need Umpty to tank the tower because he can drop it with his W, so then they can finish off Fudge.
All right, here we go. We're going to see if Umpty can start it up. He is going to pull aggro. Nice flash, avoids the taunt. They're going to be going back in, and Fudge does get knocked down, and they get out. Contracts now, though, can threaten the Hex Flash. They get double Hex Flash over the wall here. Are they going to actually go for the double Hex Flash play and look for one onto APA? APA is playing respectfully, though. He's playing up towards the top side. I think he would have to be below the tower for him to go for it, but they're going to go for it anyway. Nice flash out, responding to the play from APA, and now Umpty is here. That's pretty spicy from Shopify. The double Hex Flash over the Raptor.
They're not done yet. Umpty wants.
Now Umpty going in on Contracts. Contracts has no flash, and he's gonna get chopped in half by Umpty. And Palafox chunked low as well. He's gonna be sent back to base. This is an amazing start for TL.
And an amazing start for Umpty on Nefiri. He had a pretty good game last.
Got that dog in him.
He's got all 5 dogs. You see the little mini ones too? He had a good, Nefiri game last time around, but this one is going to be a really good game. With 2 early kills on this champion, you can go insane. Eclipse is a very cheap early item. You can rush it, and then you will dominate at grubs. You will dominate.
Multiple senses.
Yeah. Very cheap. So is the champion because you see there, used very easily. You use your first Q, and then he W's to get all the bonus damage for the second one that has all the execute. And this is always what you have to think about as a jungler. If you're going to gank mid, especially if you did not full clear and you're only level 3, if you go gank mid and you're soaking tower shots, you have to worry about your path afterwards because the enemy jungler just showed top in a successful dive on your top laner. So Umpty very intelligently moves over to counter after the long attempted play from Shopify towards mid lane. And yeah, you know, it's cool to do a double hex flash, but like you were saying, they actually took a long time to do that play. And this is one of the things with Shopify. Sometimes when they decide on a play, they take a very long time to actually do it, especially some of these early game ones, and it leaves an opportunity for some of these top 4 teams to then punish the play afterwards. Umpty did just that, and we'll see if they're able to get the Nefiri under control afterwards.
APA is scrapping pretty well here with Palafox. Actually comes out on top as Core JJ going to be able to interrupt the recall there. Great ulti from AP. He just hit 6 as Contracts comes in here. And again, it is Umpty in the area. Contracts now down a level, is going to be in a tough spot if he actually runs into Umpty in the jungle. And Umpty's going to be over the wall there, going to be able to take this down very quickly. So Contracts not likely to be able to get any of the camp whatsoever, besides maybe a mini Krug, but not even that likely. And Contract's going to get pushed out of his own jungle. And at the same time, the root landing there from the Nico, not able to finish off Palafox. He does flash back. I'm assuming that Core JJ entered as a minion or something there because he didn't flash, was able to get the root down, are able to push down Palafox. And TL are just winning out everywhere because Umpty steals the jungle, goes over to the Grubs here. They win out in mid lane. They push out Fudge in top lane. They're winning bot. This is looking so good from TL.
Yeah, and Contracts knows, you know, this Nefiri champion, Shopify were ones with really high priority on it early in the split, running 2 games of it, and he was the one going for all these invades. So he knows to definitely give respect. And here we go. There is the minion Core JJ. He gets in line. He's actually kind of doubles up with the other ranged minion there, but it's fine because it gets all the way up and hits the root. So we talked about, all right, Core JJ, first game of on-stage Nico, and so far, it's looking like a
completely
8 out of 10.
Well, knows he can turn into a minion. That's another check.
Yeah, looks good.
Yep. Check, check.
You know, the cool ones are always when people have, you know, playing against some sort of champion that has a champion-only interaction, and then you turn into a minion when they try and trade on you, or, you know, to abuse their runes that only proc on champions. Because the game really does count you as a minion for the purposes of like runes and items and champion kit interactions when you do that. So it's always cool to see those little things used with the kit.
I've seen it against like Sejuani ult and stuff, which doesn't hit on minions. You can turn into a minion, just flies right past you, and you can actually turn into the Nefiri dogs, the little dogs as well.
Yeah, just go walk around.
With
Umpty.
Yeah, we'll see if he can blend in.
If
the pack accepts him, or if he'll be rejected. Contracts going to be able to try to take down the big raptor there.
It's hard. It's hard to catch chicken. So I have spent some time on a farm, and it's kind of fun to like wrangle them. You know, go around trying to chase them. I've been there, Contracts. You know, that chicken's.
Yeah.
Those things are slippery.
Oh, APA going to get tagged from downtown by B-Boy. Palafox not getting that much damage off of with it though.
But they did hit everything.
They did hit everything. That's a plus.
Accurate.
Yeah. Caught that chicken.
Caught that chicken. It's also, too, there's a lot of Zelda games where you have to go catch chickens. But
that's true. So old Zelda games, goated.
Very, very goated. Meanwhile, we got to check back in on this Nefiri that got such a strong early lead. I mean, it's over 1,000 individual gold lead for Mr. Umpty. And once he goes back to spend, I believe he's just saving up enough gold to just one-shot the Eclipse by. So just finish up clearing his bottom side, and then after you reset, his next reset, he will come out prowling and just looking to fight anyone on the map. So will be a scary time there for Shopify. They're gonna have to give over some priority.
Like right now, he's like one of those cute Pomeranians, but he's gonna come back like a giant Rottweiler or something. You know, a lot more intimidating.
Never underestimate the Pomeranian because
bad experiences.
They can,
pointy teeth.
Yeah, they can be dangerous too, buddy. He still has not gone back to buy, so he doesn't care. Gonna go finish up the or at least start up the dragon.
If they get challenged though, because Contracts is coming over, and Contracts actually has more combat stats right now, even though is like over 1,000 gold ahead because he has bought. And they are going to be looking for this. They are going to get pushed back by the Shock Blast. Doesn't connect. Seos has been chunked out quite a bit, though. And now TL looking like they have a pretty good angle. Contract's going to whiff on the ulti, and it's going to get poked down, and that should be enough to gain TL the Dragon. Nice attempt from Shopify, but can't find an angle.
And so I'm looking at Umpty's gold the entire time. He has 2,000 gold in inventory while that fight is going on. But yeah, if the Poppy ult does not hit anyone, that is your biggest tool for this dragon fight. So as they're like walking back towards the tri-brush and the annoying slow from the dragon attack is going off, Shopify cannot contest it there. And now, not only did he get Eclipse, but his tier 2 boots, crazy cooldown reduction as well for this champion. Biggest power spike in the game by far, no question about it. Let's see what he can do.
He's definitely looking strong. Does have the ulti available here. Fudge is going to be spotted out. Looks like wants to try to get in there. We'll see if he can actually take him down in the 1v1 and how heavily he's going to commit to it. Impact trying to get in there. They are able to force out the flash immediately. And Fudge trying to run, but not long for this world. Going to be taken by the winds of war as they claim the feet of warfare. Impact grabs it, but it's doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah. When we knew, as soon as he comes back, you spend a bunch of money. Okay, another root lands, a little bit of chunk there in mid lane too, but nice stuff there from Umpty, immediately going and using his power spike before the grub spawn so that they should be able to get this grub full 6-pack, unless Contracts wanted to blast cone over, smite one, and then flash out, which would be a high investment just to deny the full 6 grub. Plus, it'd even still be probably pretty hard getting out of that alive because there's a lot of ability to follow for TL, so doesn't even want to try that. And TL with this ginormous lead centered on the Nefiri still.
I mean, 6 grubs when you are already behind feels so tough to play into because it's so difficult to actually defend the towers. Then all of a sudden they're getting more plate gold as well. And Fudge up here on that top side has no flash, so has to play pretty safe. Impact down towards that bottom side has the Hollow Radiance completed, so now your wave clear is really
winding up the
strong.
punch.
Going to be going in, does hit the taunt, not the Justice Punch, but going to get a nice little chunk down anyway. And as you see, you can kind of just like insta-kill the waves with your passive because you get that nice little pop that does come out from the Hollow Radiance. But I feel like TL have just done such a good job of preempting any plays because every time I feel like we see Seos on the screen, he's getting rooted by CoreJJ and he's losing half his health. And then it feels like you just don't even want to try to go for these engages. And now down towards this bottom side is going to get eyes on Palafox, but won't commit to it. Contracts is coming in now, but he doesn't have eyes on it to him, and he's going to get interrupted on the dash. He's trying to get back towards the tower. Impact's actually tanking up the tower now because of the burn, and the Ash Arrow comes in from downtown, and it's going to get them the kill. Can they get a second? Palafox flashes forward. It is going to force the flash from in retreat, but they did not see Contracts coming in. He was hugging the wall there, stayed out of vision for so long, and then Impact tanking the tower in that spot really hurt him.
That was very fortuitous timing for Shopify Rebellion. Also hitting the Ash Arrow to ensure they can get at least one of those shutdowns. It's desperately needed. It does not equal a comeback or anything like that, but it was certainly desperately needed to slow down the control that TL have built here. So much welcome golds, and Contracts does have at least the Sundered Sky done, but still no boots and still going to be in the hole quite significantly. Still, I mean, the kit of Poppy, just the pick itself is so good against this comp, so maybe we will see some value here.
Doesn't require gold to press W.
It does not. But gold does help because then you get more cooldown reduction and you can press W more often. So then you have more chances at good ones.
You got me. But APA going to be pushing down here on this bottom side, just trying to work away at this tower. We can see this replay one more time.
Yeah, so as you say, you know, he's hugging the wall coming down, and Umpty just wants to use his giant lead. So he's like, as soon as I see somebody, I'm going to go in. And Impact was trying to follow up on the play, so that's why he was just walking straight through. But nice little shot there. Boink. Full accuracy. I think he's hit every Ash Arrow, even the Ash Arrow in mid lane that did not result in a kill or anything.
There you go.
Accurate.
Second one did.
Uh-huh.
Scaling. Nicely done. And yeah, I think they wouldn't have actually even died had Impact not picked up tower aggro there. But just a little bit of one of those situations where you're walking through a little bit early because you don't expect the Poppy to be there and you pull aggro. Now another Ashe arrow is going to connect again as ABA flashes and gets caught regardless. Can Contracts find the angle to send him into the wall? Doesn't even need it. B-Boy has just got a homing missile for an Ashe arrow here. Hits another one, 3 for 3. The last 2 have gotten kills. This one gets a flash as well.
Hawkeye over here gets one and got the flash. Like, that's
That'd
a
be
critical.
the worst superhero, by the way. You could like be invisible or invincible, and this guy just like shoots an arrow.
So I need confirmation. Is Hawkeye actually a superhero, or is he just a regular dude that's very accurate?
A guy with a bow.
Yeah, or is like his superpower that he's so accurate?
I don't actually know. I always kind of saw him as a superhero. Because that's like, man, that's a rough deal.
We could call that like a mediocre power.
Yeah.
How about he's
not that super?
He is a hero, but he's like a mediocre hero.
Yep.
Anyways, Dragon Fight.
TP coming in here from Fudge. We'll see if they can get a Hex Flash. Getting threatened from Contract. Not going to go over the wall. Seos getting chunked down so heavily. Great equalizer across 4 members from TL, but they're able to get out of it quickly. They do secure the Dragon. Now can they get away? Umpty's going to go in. He's going to get knocked out of it and shut down by B-Boy. Great job interrupting the dash and bursting down Umpty before he can get into the W. This is a series of good plays here from Shopify, and now with the Dragon, it is really feeling like a bit of a comeback.
Umpty saw Rivers Nefiri play earlier, where he was just ulting in and instantly jumping out or instantly using the W and thought he was going to pull that off. But if you hit the Nefiri as they're coming in, then they can't dodge the aftermath. Like, it's only after the ult hits, then you're able to outplay. But here's another look at it. So the Rumble ultimate gets them so much room here. Fudge and Palafox push them off. Contracts is able to push Umpty away from the Dragon. Then they peel back to the Dragon to get their objective. And here's a look at it. So the interrupt does come from Seos with the Q on Alistar, and then Palafox, wham, bam, double hammers there from him and Contracts. They're able to get the kill and just take down this Fed Nefiri and once again chop down on that early lead that they got. But tower.
APA getting wrapped on. We'll see if anyone else is here. He's going to be able to get the tower. A nice knockback, trying to summon up his own passive tower to survive. We'll see if he can do it against Palafox. Palafox trying to chase him down and finish him off, but in comes Umpty. He does get the kill. He will fall, but a nice 1-for-1 there from Palafox. It does cost him his flash, though. On the other side, we'll see if Shopify do want to try to force this Herald. They're definitely thinking about it.
Yeah, they have numbers for a very small window here. And it looks like they are still going to use the extra numbers to start up the objective because Umpty is split pushing in. Nefiri wants solo tower gold here. Umpty wants to retake the throne of being mega fed.
Later died, I'll do it myself.
There you go. I mean, they got the first turret, and they're going to be able to get secondary one. This one is just really, really big for individual gold.
Contracts can't do this, though. He has no one helping him at all, and Impact's coming in. Now the teleport going to be coming in to join here from Palafox. Palafox, has he gone too far with that TP? Not going to be jumped on as he does arrive, and Shopify should be able to grab this and get out.
Gotta leave
TL
quickly, though.
Trying to do something about it, but just can't actually find any exit kills here. They weren't really on the same page. They did get the tier 2 bot, though, and that is a lot of gold. You can see their gold lead back up to almost 3K as Seos gets incredibly low there. We'll be able to limp away to safety, but TL are pushing mid lane now, too.
So CoreJJ keeps turning into the big dog. He keeps turning into actual Umpty, but I want to see him turn into the mini dog. Like
Wants to be the pack leader, you know?
Yeah. So the only problem with that strat is, like, if the enemy team already knows the Nefiri is fed, then they're probably not going to get tricked.
Oh, nice sidestep. A Contract's going over the wall and going to get the stun onto CoreJJ. I don't think he has a way out of this one. Contract's tough start, but able to battle back here. 2-1-2 now on the Poppy, finding some really good plays as it's a great punish onto CoreJJ.
It certainly is. Let's see. B-Boy 2, again, still, it's like he's artillery from the middle of the map.
This could be tough. Yawn does have the killer instinct, so if Impact can land any CC onto Fudge, Fudge is likely to fall, but Yawn is saying, you know what, I can't actually spend the time because mid lane is already having that wave crash, so they call off the play. Fudge is able to recall. Shopify pushing on the other side of the map and do have the wave crashing mid, so Shopify moving around the map here very well. As Palafox again gets some more chip damage onto APA, but Umpty is here, and as is CoreJJ, so Shopify have got to be respectful of the power that they still have.
Yeah, especially because the deep wards in their jungle do see B-Boy over there on like the half rotation. So They know it's pretty far away right now. The Ash Arrow not back up yet from the previous play, so they don't have that one to come through. And TL on the push back, they're actually going to be the ones with the priority to force another tower. So while Shopify get close on some objectives there and they get the tower low, TL keep getting a lot of tower gold very, very quickly here. It was outer bottom, secondary bottom, now outer top as well. And that's doing a lot to fund this gold lead that you see on screen.
Absolutely. Bvoy doing well, though, is the one with a slight gold lead here for his team. You can see the opportunity was that first item there for Palafox, and now has that Muramana completed, so going to be definitely ramping up the poke damage here. But APA also finishing his Leandry, so a lot of key items now coming through as we're kind of hitting that 20-minute mark, and a lot of these champions are completing their second one.
Yep, getting a little dicey here as the Hex Tech Dragon will arrive. Early arrival, definitely huge benefits here to TL, especially if they get Core JJ in place first. The tricky Nico, and it looks like they're going to fight over the crab first. They do get the Smite win. There gets Smite win originally. Contract's pretty close. And the rest of the squad here revealed.
It looks like Contracts is going in towards that Force of Nature second. Shopify posturing pretty aggressively here with the Herald, but we haven't talked much about the AD carries. Yon has just been so incredible for TL throughout Split 1 as well as Split 2, and Bvoy on the other side, also a real threat, someone that gets a lot of credit from his competitors, from the other pros in the league. And these two guys are definitely threats to take over the game, even though it has been a relatively quiet early game. You've always got to respect the skill that these two players have.
Yeah, especially with the accuracy of the Ash Arrows so far. I don't think we've seen Bvoy miss one yet. Impact on the bottom side.
Impact looking here for Fudge. Fudge going to be able to overheat, though, and Bvoy's coming in. Impact's now sectioned off from the rest of the team. Impact going to flash away, but Fudge is there to follow. He's stunned up, and he is knocked down. APA pushing for the tier 2 mid. I think TL have just got to bail out. Is pretty far up here, but he is by himself, and Palafox is liking his odds in this fight. You can see that Core JJ as well as Yon are on the side, but they do lose the tier 2 mid for it. So it is still an extension of that gold lead, even though Impact dies, and it is the Dragon going to Shopify.
Yeah, I mean, TL, they still, like you say, get the towers here. They're getting so much tower gold in this game so quickly. And secondary Dragon doesn't do a whole lot for you right now, so it's really going to be about, can Shopify get some sort of kill, some sort of pick for themselves, another good Ash Arrow or something like that, to try and even up. Wait a second.
Oh, APA is here. Can they actually find the play? Umty's getting CC chained so much, but he's going to try to get out of there. We'll see if he can actually do it. The equalizer gets dropped, but not really the right way. And at the same time, APA knocks down Contracts. He was just free firing the whole time with the lethal tempo Azir. They kind of overcommit onto Umty, but at the same time, Palafox takes down the tier 1 and he's pushing on the tier 2 bot.
Exactly. They're doing this while split pushing. So Otacon will be the focus for Team Liquid. Palafox has teleport on the Jace. He wants to finish bottom tower first. Then we'll see.
Oh, Bvoy in a lot of trouble. Yon goes in with the Killer Instinct. In comes Impact. Can he get the follow to take him down? Can't quite do it. Doesn't have the flash because of that earlier Dragon play. It is going to mean, though, Otacon should go their way as Umty just slowly but surely knocking this down. As long as you're actually dodging out on the abilities, Otacon does very little to you, but you can't afford to tank these abilities because they are really punishing. You just dodge the orbs, and then for the GA, you step outside of that kind of AoE zone. They do get an eyes on it right at the very end, but not before it is knocked down. And now the GAs have been claimed by TL.
All right, let's see how they can use them, because there is not going to be a large neutral objective on the map for another minute and a half here in the Baron, and they're going to have to force something. I think, Contracts and Palafox versus Team... Wait a second.
Palafox in a lot of trouble now, trying to retreat back, but Bvoy nails another arrow here. Core going to be blocked for there by Umty, but yeah, Palafox and Contracts actually dead even as a duo against TL, which is pretty impressive, because of how strong TL has been over the years. But this duo has really been the core of a number of different rosters now, and when Shopify grabbed them, they were really looking at Contracts as Palafox as these guys that were going to create action, create plays for the team, and so far this game, I think they have been able to do that.
They certainly have. A lot of these comeback plays off of the back of a couple of these, plus the Ash Arrows, of course, but now we're still looking at this Guardian Angel effect, these revives in the hands of Team Liquid. it is very different now. You don't want to just give them away because it still is a substantial amount of gold with the 200 plus the permanent stats that you're going to give over. So you can't be as reckless, but you still do want to force. So you're kind of looking at, will Core JJ get some sneaky Nico playoff? Shopify have to be very careful for this next little window on counting minions and looking for any of these pathways, because TL Vision is fully complete coverage right now. And you have to be so scared with the vision coverage of TL plus the Nico on their team.
Yeah, I mean, when you have those GAs, you don't want to be too crazy, but you do want to be a little crazy, right? Like you want to find exactly just the right amount. Just enough spice there. And it's worth touching in on Jan, who is doing this full AD build that we've already seen from him before, and it's kind of catching on quite a bit. It's not still as popular as the Rage Blade and the kind of into the AP, but this full AD build does scale very well, and the Acathian Rain does a ridiculous amount of damage if you can get an isolated Q on someone. You ult into the backline. If they are isolated, they're pretty much just dead. The Q does a ridiculous amount of damage once it is evolved in your full AD. So we'll see if Jan can find those types of plays later on. B-Boy, as we've already touched on, looking pretty strong, but Contract's going to get a good chunk here down onto Impact as TL are already on the Baron. They're trying to two-man it here with and APA. Jan, though, is in the area. Impact's lost half his health, but TL still are on the Baron. There is vision of it for Shopify. We'll see if they can actually find a way to punish this. Core JJ on the side does find Fudge, who does have his flashback now, and APA in the middle of everyone scoops him back, and the follow-up is there from TL. The Equalizer are going to get dropped to the wall, but it's Jan into the back line here, cutting them to pieces. Seo's trying to run. Contract's fighting back, doing what he can here. They do take down 2, but is going to chase him, and wants even more as TL come out way on top here. They've already taken 4, and they're looking for number 5. It's only a matter of time here as Contracts picking up the honey fruit, picking up the passive, trying to survive, but he can't do it. TL get the ace, and they're going to grab the Baron.
They're going to get the Baron, and Impact is also pushing mid lane at the moment, so they're going to open up the base at the exact same time. That fight is everything for Team Liquid. APA Azir is in a new era.
Always pick Azir.
Yeah, always pick Azir. Perfect acronym for him nowadays. Scoops him right into the waiting arms of Core JJ's first stage game Nico here. APA scoops him, Core JJ boops him. Let's take a look at it.
Boop.
And then
watch him one more time.
Upti gets to clean them all up because the Fury has crazy mobility too. But here's a look. Seo's tried to get the Alistar Q on him as he's going in, but yeah, the huge knockup right into the boop there from Core JJ and the annihilations. Umpty and Jan both on these mobile, dangerous champions just get to jump into the back. In the craziness, and then Impact also surviving and going straight for the minions afterwards. So nicely done stuff from TL.
Yeah, that was a really sick engage from APA. Finds it, and the follow-up was perfect. Great engage, really. I mean, and it's so interesting how, we had this one really good Azir game earlier this split, and it feels like it fueled a lot of his confidence, right? To be able to go for these plays, and sometimes that is all you need. You need to see, hey, I can do this. I can find these angles.
Yeah, I like the interview afterwards, too, because Emily asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, I just went to watch a whole bunch of Azir games of legendary mid laners, and then I got it. I guess.
Locked in.
You watch a bunch of Faker replays and stuff, and
crack the code.
Then just go ahead and do that.
There you go.
Watch it, then do it.
Yep.
Perfect.
That's the Korean advice. Just get good.
Yeah.
How do you win this matchup? Well, you hit all your skill shots and you dodge all theirs, and then you tend to win.
You got to go scoop the enemies while either surviving or sacrificing yourself for many other members.
There you go. Sounds pretty simple. Don't know why everyone doesn't do that. As is going to be jumping in on Fudge. Does have a massive gold lead and is able to enforce his will on Fudge, pushing him back. Impact knocks down the tier 2, extending the gold lead to 9.3K. Absolutely insane. As the 6 Grubs going to make short work of these towers. They're pushing in all 3 waves right now. The Ash Arrow does connect, but it's just on Impact, and he is so damn tanky. Not sure they can really do anything about this. They do get him down to about a quarter HP, but Contract's losing a lot of his health as well, and they've lost the mid lane turret. They lost the mid lane inhibitor, and now there's a wave coming in through bot that is likely going to mean the end of that tower. This is looking like a very easy triple inhib here for TL, unless Shopify can find an angle to go right now.
Yeah, and the angle is not looking good. It is closing quickly here.
Yeah, we're going to see if they can find something here on Umti. Umti getting chunked down, but Umti is still very strong and trying to kite out. In comes the Galio ultimate to back him up, and Umti's just going to turn and he's going to fight. The equalizer gets dropped. B-Boy trying to find something here, but the taunt lands, and in comes Jan with the killer instinct. APA not able to find that ulti, though, as Palafox flashes out of it. Still, though, TL too strong, fighting through here. Umti going back in off the reset. Fudge trying to clear out the way. Sales standing, trying to survive, but it's just not looking like it's going to be enough. The grubs are spawning out here. Maybe they can hold for a little bit longer because they got APA and because they got Yawn, but they're still going to lose the triple inhib here, and it's going to be so hard to come back. Great W does immune the knock up there from Sales, but then he's going to get grounded. Fudge, though, just can't get in range, and Impact is closing in. They've got to try to get out. Sales has no ultimate, is creating a little bit of a space. We'll get back to the fountain here to try to heal back up, and B-Boy's going to be up in 12, so TL will back off. Shopify do hold, but they are holding on to the tatters of a ruined base.
Yeah, and I think the Fury's looking very good this weekend as well. There was some discussion, not broken anymore after the nerfs. Still looking quite powerful, and Umti is having a very fun time on it. You see how much healing is coming through, too, with the Death Stance and the fully stacked Conqueror, and he wants another piece.
Yep, and he is going to like any fight he can find, pretty much. Level 17. By the way, pretty ridiculous. Highest level in the game, higher than either team's solo laners at this point.
Yeah. We'll say Jan got really hyped in that last play. He Kaisa, killer instincts in, and then he finds himself in the middle of all the other enemies and just instantly gets knocked up.
What's that minion doing there?
Taken down. Well, it's getting Harpoon in it and getting a little snare back. Just waiting for the rest of the minions so they can go finish the Nexus turrets
That's
here.
where minions are at their strongest, as a pack.
Yeah, exactly.
You're rarely taken down by just one
Especially
minion.
when they got the big brother super minions
When they start
coming.
swarming like this, though, they are not to be trifled with. We'll see if Shopify can even clear out the waves. The Hurricane going to help. Great stasis there. Immunes the Ash Arrow coming through as Impact does buff for the taunt, just kind of stopping any threat of that engage here. 4JJ on the side as a minion. We'll see if he can find an angle. The towers are starting to go down, though. They need to look for it right now. APA is the target, but they can't find him. In comes the equalizer, but it's not doing anything. Fudge in the backline, trying to survive, gets back to the fountain. Contract's on the other side, trying to put pressure onto Jan, but Jan is standing, Jan is firing, Jan goes in with the killer instinct, and it's 2 kills for TL, and it's looking like it's going to be even more. Jan gets a double, Jan gets another as they ace him on the steps of the base. TL finish the job, take down Shopify.
Team Liquid, another win over here. They still have not dropped a game to one of the bottom 4 teams, even with people critiquing them after first stand.